Earlier this year, Nylon told us that eyeshadow was out. So I suppose it was a bit inevitable that now in 2024, we're also learning that mascara is next. Yes, mascara has met the same inevitable fate as eyeshadow. It is apparently over. Every major beauty publication seems to be reporting that mascara is out. And while this is obviously a huge generalization, tons of people still obviously love and wear mascara, I do think it's reflective of overall beauty trends. So today I want to talk about that, plus a few other beauty trends that I didn't necessarily see coming. These are a few we might not have expected, but have gained major popularity in the last year or two. And I want to try a few of them on my face today. You know, we're going to switch it up, do my makeup in a way that I don't normally do it. So I'm going to start with the Ilia Serum Skin Tint. I'm pretty late to this one. I got this one recently actually in PR from Ilia, and I've been liking it so much more than I would have expected. So I like to start with this one with a brush and just kind of start smoothing it over the skin, and then I tap over it with a sponge second. Now, the one thing I always heard about this foundation was that it smells, and I do kind of agree with that. It's not the most pungent smell ever. Like, it's not to the point that it prevents me from using it, but I have heard that from other people that the smell alone completely deters you from wanting to reach for this product. But I think it's the sunscreen that's making it smell like this, but it's really not your like typical sunscreen scent. It smells similar to a foundation that I used to love from CoverGirl. Do you remember their Skin Milk foundation? I remember that was the talk of the town because it also had a very strange but like specific scent to it. Like I would always say it smelled like bread or something. This is not the same, but it's similar. But mascara, okay, let's talk about it. Mascara is one of those products, I think for a lot of people, we can't imagine doing our makeup without it. And I was seeing a lot of like similar sentiments in all of the different articles that I was reading about the death of mascara, and I'm putting it in air quotes because it's wildly dramatic. Again, lots of people still use and love mascara. But so many of the articles were referencing the same concept where you think of the idea of like your desert island products, or like if you could only have 3 products or 1 product, like the category that you hear probably most often described for that is mascara. If not mascara, maybe concealer, maybe eyebrows, maybe lip balm, but I feel like most people do say mascara. Also, my tip of my nose, I have a little Rudolph nose. It's actually probably not even, I'm being so dramatic, it's not that bad, but I had a little pimple there, and instead of just letting it exist, I decided to make it worse. So I'm gonna take a little bit of mascara and try to cover it a bit. But mascara for me was always a make or break product. I would feel like when I was doing my beauty routine, it didn't feel finished until I added the mascara. And while the no mascara look has been gaining momentum, I remember trying it for the first time probably in like spring or early summer, and I kept trying it over and over again, and every time I would do it, I would finish my makeup and I would look at myself and I would be like, something is missing, and every time that something was mascara. And then I would go and add mascara, and I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe this trend is not for me. I will say, little by little, it has grown on me. And I have found myself wearing less and less mascara. And you know, the hunt that I've been on for like the perfect brown mascara, I really swapped out all my black mascaras for brown. And I've been opting for that more subtle natural lash look as opposed to the very bold dramatic lash that I used to crave. And I mean, naturally, I think part of the popularity of the no mascara look falls in line with the sustained popularity of the clean girl look that's been so big these last few years. I think no mascara in a way almost instantly makes a look clean girl. Like you could do a full face of makeup, omit the mascara, and it just automatically is gonna look a lot more natural because you don't have that bold product on the lashes. Mascara is also just one of those products that it's really hard to make look undetectable unless it's like barely doing anything. But when I think of a lot of my mascaras that do a ton of building, major volume, major length, like you look at them and you see them. And because beauty trends have swayed away from makeup that is detectable like that, and we're leaning into things that, I say we, I'm generalizing again, big time here, but the popular trends seem to be leaning into makeup that you can't necessarily see or identify. It makes sense that mascara, oh, here comes a big cloud, but it makes sense that people are wearing less and less mascara. And as it normally goes, the more that I dabbled in the no mascara look or the less mascara look or the slightly more subtle lash look, the more it has grown on me, and I've started to really like it. And then I see photos of celebrities without mascara on. I see finished makeup looks by makeup artists where they intentionally chose not to add mascara, and I'm like, wait, that looks really beautiful. And the way that I would compare it is to your first time ever wearing a red lip. And I've shared this idea before where so many people think that they don't look good in red lips. I hear that comment so often anytime I reference red lipstick. Everyone seems to think they look bad in it. And yet I think red is actually one of the most universally flattering shades of lipstick that you can wear. I mean, yes, it comes down to finding your perfect red, but I do think red looks beautiful on truly everyone. But red is such a bold shade that when you're not used to seeing yourself wearing something with so much intensity, the first time that you do it, it's automatically just gonna feel off on your face until your eyes almost become accustomed to it. And then you might change your mind and think, okay, wait, actually I look beautiful in red. But the first time you put on a red lipstick, it's gonna be so bold on your face. It's so much contrast that there's a high chance you might not like it right away, even if it actually looks really beautiful on you. The no mascara thing had the same impact for me, where the first time that I saw it, I thought, okay, this looks ridiculous. And I was so conditioned to only viewing myself as beautiful with having big, bold, voluminous lashes. But the more I've sat with it and played around with it, I've actually started feeling like I prefer the way that my eyes look without mascara or with less mascara or brown mascara. And that's not to say I don't still love mascara and won't play around with different looks, but there's something about the softer, either no mascara or less mascara or brown mascara look that I think makes everyone's eye color pop so much. I don't know what it is. It feels really like counterintuitive because you would assume your eye color would pop more against the contrast of a really bold black lash. But sometimes I feel like that can overshadow the eye, and I actually think a softer mascara look actually makes everyone's eyes just look so pretty. But another trend that's been pretty big lately, or I guess this is like the opposite of a trend. It's not something people are doing, it's something people are not doing, is wearing concealer. And this is one I've actually really been leaning into. Allure writes, it felt like I woke up one day and suddenly no one, dare I say hip, was wearing under eye concealer anymore. A jarring thing to witness for anyone who came of age in the maximalist makeup era. And instead, I've even seen a lot of people emphasizing their under eye bags. And I know many of you are shuddering. You're like, absolutely not, I would never. But we're gonna try it today. And I know this is not gonna be for everyone. I can already see the comments. I know a lot of you are gonna be like, Kelly, absolutely not. But the times that I've tried this, call me crazy, I have liked it. So we're gonna take a bronzer. This is, we'll use the same bronzer throughout my face to have kind of a uniform look, but this is a very light bronzer. So it's not much darker than my skin tone. There's not as much contrast between my skin tone and this as there are in any of my other bronzers. So I do recommend choosing a bronzer that's gonna be closer to your skin tone. You don't want something like too dramatic. So this is the shade Fair from Makeup by Mario. And I'm taking this on my concealer brush. This is the Sigma Soft Angle Concealer. And I normally use this to apply my color corrector from Sigma, actually, their color corrector. But today, we're gonna use this to draw some bronzer onto my under eye. And what you're gonna notice right away is that it actually does a little bit of color correcting. Granted, you could use a color corrector to do this, or you could use this as step one to color correct and then put a concealer over top. But I'm gonna skip those two. I'm gonna leave it as this. So right away, I think some of the blue that my under eyes naturally have is already kind of camouflaged a bit because of the brown here. And yes, perhaps I look a little bit more tired, but what I like about this is that this line on my under eye is the part of my under eye that I tend to feel most self-conscious about. Like that's what I'm trying to correct with makeup if I'm choosing to correct it. I feel like with the bronzer side, it really camouflages that line there, because the reason this line is so apparent is because above the line is blue and beneath the line is light. So then when I'm normally taking a very light concealer, it's almost emphasizing everything going on here that I'm trying to detract from. And so with that in mind, sometimes, call me crazy, I think a little bit of bronzer on the under eyes actually looks better. I think it's something that looks incredibly fresh in person. I don't know how it's gonna translate on camera. We're gonna see when I edit this back. The thing about more like natural or minimal makeup looks like this, they tend to look better in person, and makeup that looks best on camera is makeup that's very glam, almost like over-exaggerated or bold, just naturally looks a little bit better in photography or video. So you're gonna have to take my word for it. In person, I think I look very fresh. And now that we're adding a little bit of bronzer to the remainder of my face, I think it's kind of tying it all together as well, because you're not just getting that darkness on the under eye, it's all as one. And for me, in my opinion, I think it looks very sun-kissed. I think in a way it almost emulates sunburn or just where the sun would naturally hit that front portion of my face. Now, I know this might not be something you want to adopt into your everyday makeup routine, but what I think is fun about trends that I always like to remind us is that obviously makeup washes off at the end of the day. And what I find beautiful about these trends is that they can sometimes force us outside of our comfort zone to try things we wouldn't otherwise imagine doing. Like 3 years ago, I wouldn't dream of doing makeup without putting mascara on. That felt like an essential step. I would never think I could possibly like the way my under eyes would look if I emphasized my dark circles. And yet, after trying it, it's been something that I occasionally add into my makeup routine. Not always every day, it definitely hasn't made its way into my everyday routine, but like, sometimes I wanna do this look. So this entire look is obviously super fresh face, so we're gonna emphasize my freckles a little bit. This is the Berry Freckle Pen. I love using this, especially on my nose, to just kind of draw my freckles back in or make them a little bit bolder than they were before. But you know me, and you know I love a little bit of powder, so we're gonna take the, well, actually, you know I love a lot of powder. We're gonna take the Jones Road powder, plus a powder puff, and just set everything down a little bit. I'm trying to hold back a little bit because if you know me, you know I want to go heavy on the powder. You know I love a super powdery look, but I feel like that's a little bit counterintuitive to the fresh face look we're after today. So I'm gonna hold myself back just a little bit. For blush, I've really been liking something glowy like this lately. This is the BareMinerals Highlighting Blush. This one reminds me a lot of the one that I love from REM. This is the shade Peach Glow. I do have maybe 1 or 2 other shades of this. It's a really pretty formula. You can use it as a topper or you can use it on its own. If you wanted it to be even more bold, like you could layer it over a different blush, but I just want this to give kind of like that hybrid look of a little bit of glow and a little bit of color. So we're gonna start just on the cheeks, but I'm gonna take whatever's left around the perimeters of my face just to get, again, a very cohesive look here. Okay, and I also will say, now that we've done some more steps, I don't think my under eyes are screaming saying like, okay, she's not wearing concealer. And I mean, I don't have super noticeable under eye bags. They're not super dark, so that's probably part of it. But what I've been liking about playing around with the no concealer look is that inevitably it just wears better throughout the day. So if creasing on your under eyes tends to be a concern for you, this could be a technique to try. I mean, obviously today we do have the product there because we put the bronzer there, but choosing not to put any concealer there could be an option as well if you want to omit product from that area to prevent the problem of creasing. All right, zooming in for eyes. Now, when it comes to a no mascara look, I think the assumption there is that like we're gonna stop right here and not do any eyeshadow, and you definitely could. I feel like that's how a lot of people wear this look, but I want to show that you can still wear eyeshadow and opt out of mascara and have a really beautiful cohesive look. So starting with eyeshadow primer, this is from Ulta Beauty Collection. This is my favorite eyeshadow primer. It is their matte eyeshadow primer, and I like that it creates a nice base because it has a little bit of pigment to it. And then I wanted to do a very bronzy look on the eyes today, so I'm reaching for this palette. This is the Kylie Cosmetics Bronze Palette. I like the mattes in this. I've said many times the shimmers are bad, so I don't necessarily recommend this palette, but because I have it, I reach for it often for the matte shades in particular. So I'm gonna start off mixing together Peaches and Tell Me More. I'm gonna take this on the lid and a little bit into the brow, but it does not have to be this palette. Truly, like any mid-tone browns that you have, start with that. I'm gonna take this into the crease, buff it out as well. And now I want to emphasize the lash line a little bit, so I'm going to take the shade Take Notes on a very dense brush and start working that into the lash line. And this is a good option if you feel like you look at your eyes with the no mascara look and you're like, I want more definition for the lashes. This can kind of trick the eye of having that intensity there without actually applying mascara. And what I think this also does is that red base of the shadow helps my eye color really pop. And again, because we're not putting that black mascara in between, I feel like you're getting to see the pop because it's not overshadowed by that really stark contrast of the black. I'm also gonna take just whatever's left on my brush and go under the lash line a little bit, which I don't normally apply much down here, but for this we will. And then I'm gonna dip into a slightly darker brown than the one we already used, but still not quite this deep brown, but just slightly, like one step after that. And I'm gonna apply that on the outer lash line as well to add even more intensity. And what I think has been really fun and playful about the popularity of this no mascara look is that it's kind of a reminder that there are no rules to makeup. Like, I know mascara feels like something you have to do. Like, the thought of putting on eyeshadow and not topping it with mascara feels criminal. But no, you can absolutely stop right here and still have a full look. But I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes for this one. It's obviously completely optional for this look, but if you're wanting to still give your lashes a little oomph while opting out of mascara, I think a quick curl can have pretty high impact, see? And the first time I tried the no mascara look, I saw some people doing this and then taking a brow wax and getting it to stay. So I tried that, putting a little bit of brow wax through my lashes post curling, and they did stay curled, but then I felt like the wax kind of dried down and started to look crusty and visible throughout the day. So I do think another option could be clear mascara if you wanted to go that route. And I do feel like I predict clear mascara to have a comeback. I feel like that used to be a much bigger thing, but this is the eye look. I really like it, and I think it's so beautiful even without mascara. Okay, but for the lips, so another trend I've been seeing, gaining a lot of popularity, is wearing a bold red lip even with less face makeup. Glamour writes, it's an age-old adage, eyes or lips. For fall 2024, it's deliberately not the former. No mascara or minimal mascara looks are picking up momentum, and for extra exaggeration, we've seen bold lips, particularly matte red, steal all the attention. Now, obviously, we still did a full face. I'm not doing a completely bare face, but I do think this is still kind of in that same vein. So what I'm gonna do is use a lip stain actually. This is the Ulta Beauty Weightless Water Stain. And I'm gonna apply probably about 2 layers of this to get the pigment intensity that I want. But I like the option of a lip stain because it's just a little bit more comfortable and low maintenance throughout the day. And then I'm gonna finish that off with a little bit of lip liner. This is the shade Tease from Saie. And then I'm even just gonna smudge it a little bit with my fingers because I want it a little messy. I really like the way that this look turned out. It utilized a lot of trends that I wouldn't necessarily think to try, but that's what I like about trends because, you know, they're just that, they're trends. You can try it out, you can test it, it's makeup, it's gonna wash off at the end of the day. Maybe it's something you'll discover you completely love that you wanna add into your makeup routine, or maybe you'll decide you never wanna do it again. But I think that's part of the fun of makeup, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know, do you think mascara is out? Do you still love and wear mascara? Let us know down below, but I will go ahead and see you in my next one. Bye.